let's get into the bold predictions then. So we have our sequel comes out. I don't know, a couple years later.
Well, we should set the stage right first, because the Pongo and I forget the other Dalmatian's name are born, who are two main Dalmatians from 101 Dalmatians, and they're given to their correct owners, who are introduced in this movie in a cool way. But the movie ends basically setting up the beginning of a 101 Dalmatians, because they have the dogs in the right place.
And he has the piano.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The piano's important.
He's singing the song.
Yeah.
You know?
In London.
So that's where we're at.
London.
So you think that the sequel, Cruella 2, is just solely about the Dalmatians? But then I guess the question is, if it's about Dalmatians, how are they going to have Cruella go after the Dalmatians, but not in a skin the dog type way?
There'll be a bad guy who frames her. Like someone else is trying to get the dogs, and they'll frame her, and then she has to dip back into being evil to take down the enemy, and then she realizes, I can do it by being a Stella, and then she's going to dip back into her Stella, and then it's going to be almost a perfect parallel of whatever this movie is.
Yeah, I think that's the easy way for sure.
Yeah.
But I think, because I do think this movie was pretty well crafted in terms of its story, I think that the big thing for this next story is the Baroness character. I don't think she's necessarily done. I think it's also left open-ended. She's like, I'll get revenge, Ha-ha.
So you think the sequel that...
What new element would Cruella introduce now? What would she have to do to take her down a second time? That would be different, so different from this first one.
I don't know. I'm not the writer
courtroom drama.
Yeah.
I'm not the writer for the movie.
Right.
You're not?
But, it's a bold...
it's your bold prediction.
Well, that wasn't my bold prediction. I was just countering to yours.
Oh.
Gotcha.
So, let's hear some bold predictions, though. Not some logical predictions.
The Dalmatians.
Bold.
That was as bold as I could
get. The Dalmatians skin Cruella.
Oh, God. They eat her. Oof. It's a very different movie.
That would be horrifying.
Blair Witch Project 3.
I'm going to go... So, for my bold prediction, I think I'm going to not go necessarily with story. I'm going to go with finance. And I'm going to say that the sequel...
Banking.
Will...
With love.
Will box office numbers... And I know this is insane. Box office numbers will be less than the original.
I believe it. I believe it.
Which is kind of weird when you think about it, because this movie was released during a pandemic.
I guess that doesn't make sense.
So theaters aren't at 100%.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
So that would mean the movie did really bad.
Yeah.
Right. But I also question, depending on when it's released and its competition.
Yeah, that's true.
It is very possible that a lot more people are not interested. Because here's the thing. This movie would have pretty much gone by our radar if it hadn't been for the Disney Plus release, right? If it wasn't on Disney, there was no way in hell I was going to bother going to a theater to see this.
It's true.
So, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only viewer out there that happened to. So, depending on how Disney is kind of calculating, box office numbers and all that fun stuff, and what they're taking into account, are they including the Disney Plus purchasers and then the general box office? That number might be higher than what a sequel could potentially do. So that's my bold prediction.
I think it's safe, but my bold prediction is the sequel is a mix of 101 Dalmatians and Cruella's Descent, right? Because I think
you think they're gonna make her bad?
I don't think they're gonna make her all the way bad, but I think if we're going the traditional sequel route, right? It's bringing your character down a peg or two, right? And she obviously ends in a really great spot. She's
a house,
super fucking rich.
Yep.
She's
successful label.
She's she's got a successful label. She has friends. She's got a butler.
Donating dogs left, right, and center.
Yeah, everything's coming up aces for her, right? So the conflict, I think, is how do you affect that, right? What's the next crack in this fragile person? Because she clearly, even though she's won the day, there's still a lot of fragility there.